Hey guys, Ryan O'Connor with you again, and in this video we're going to explain what custom objects are. As you know, and it being the 24th of October, you know that this video is coming at you of the week of Level Up Summit for High Level 2024. As we speak, it is still going on, so stay with me and I'm going to run through a number of new updates, but in this video we're going to explain exactly what custom objects are and why you should care, and I'm going to try to do that within about 3 or 4 different reasons, so stay tuned. Don't forget, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. So point 1, what are custom objects and why should you care? So we've always had some familiarity around what custom objects are, and you know that we've known that be coming for quite a while. So for those of the people in this community that are unfamiliar, we've always had the object contacts within High Level. Contacts are the main object. Contacts can contain lots of properties, and those properties are things like your phone number, your email address, and so on. So, you know, a good way to think about what an object is if we wanted to build, you know, something like my son's created here in Lego. He uses different objects and creates relationships between the objects by attaching them. We can call that attachment an association, which, you know, if we want to go a little bit more broadly, we could say that we could define the relationship between the different things on a piece of Lego like this with, say, the engine. You know, the engine can contain multiple wheels, for instance, right? But you can't have many engines on many wheels. And so the way we describe the relationship when we're building what we're building is super important, okay? When we think about this in terms of relational database modeling, we talk about the uniqueness of something, okay? If you're not sure what I'm talking about, let's use a very simple example in the context of contacts. So if I have a contact can contain a phone number. In fact, it can contain more than one phone number. But do we need a database of phone numbers so that this contact can have a phone number and that another contact can share the same phone number? And we say, no, you wouldn't build a database model that looks like that. We say, why? You say, well, the phone number is a unique piece of information that can only belong to one contact. So therefore, it doesn't need its own object. It doesn't need its own table. It only needs to exist as a property against the contact object. It's just not that important. So here's another example. You know, let's say that we're, you know, a restaurant business, right? That restaurant can have many tables. It can also have many people serving, right? So you can have a server. You can also have many dishes that you can order off of a menu. You might say that you can have many menus, but all of the things that we're describing, you're describing in the case of its uniqueness and the case of its relationship to other objects. So let's use the restaurant example again. So I'm building an application. I want to build the application in a no-code builder, and I want to build it for the restaurant business. Well, as of today, 24th of October, GoHighLevel have made it possible, and you should be extremely excited about it. Don't let my straight face fool you. I'm trying to get as much of this in one take as I possibly can. So what it means is that I can now use GoHighLevel to build my own, you know, line of business application in, say, something like the enterprise, or a fully fledged system that works beyond just CRM. Now I can actually create data models that will work with me and my application the way I see fit. You know, and normally these systems have already been created. So if we think about the home services business, HVAC, and so on, there's lots of service platforms and software solutions out there. And GoHighLevel to date has had to suffer and interoperate or extend so that we can pass information from one application to another. By creating custom objects, it means that we no longer must look to third-party applications in line of business or other, functions within an industry like a service industry. We can build these things natively within the application itself, turn that into no longer a snapshot, but an actual application. And I think that the opportunity this gives every high-level agency and user on the planet is now kind of unprecedented. Just like when Salesforce.com released their custom objects, you were able to then build enterprise applications or ERP systems natively within Salesforce. And that's essentially how they became so big, by allowing the business themselves to build their own applications on top of the platform they were subscribing to. It was called Salesforce after all. Salesforce's history was building a CRM, and in fact, the ticker on the New York Stock Exchange is CRM. So this is exactly where they started, and they started by using a customer as the very first object, and we call that in high level a contact. And all they did was have the vision and the foresight to say, we don't know what other objects need to exist. There's always a person, so therefore there's always a contact. So we know that we can build that in a hard-coded way into high level, but we don't know what other use cases are out there. And in fact, we don't care what other use cases are out there. We're going to make it so that anyone can build anything for any use case. So let's use the restaurant example one more time. I've got my Lego pieces and I've started with my contact record. What I want to do, however, is I want to be able to track my orders. So I'm going to need to create an order object, and I want to relate it to my contacts object. So the way that I describe that is important. Is it something that is singular? Is it a one-to-one relationship? No, because a contact can come into the restaurant more than one time. So therefore, a contact must be able to contain many orders. Okay, you can't just go into a restaurant and order once and that's it. Then you might say, well, how would I track who in my staff owns the order for that table? So what we can say here is, let's add a third object and relate it. And now I'm going to say, well, I've got an object called servers. They're not users of the system, but they're servers. One server can have many orders, and one contact can have many orders. You might go one extra layer and say, well, what table is the order for? And so now we have 4 pieces and 4 objects that need to be related together in some way. And you could say, well, tables don't have servers, right? However, they can have many orders. And you'll say, okay, great. We can have a server who owns a table. A table can have many orders, and the orders belong to one or more contacts. And so that's a very simple way to describe how you're going to end up eventually with a fully fledged enterprise system that can do some of the things that we just described. So if you're not thinking about how you can use custom objects to build way more robust, way more customized solutions for your industry verticals, if you're a high-level agency owners, then I highly encourage that you start looking at custom objects in a very serious way. Now, don't forget, if you do like this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate any support. Any questions, comments, jump in below. I do have a community that is both free and paid. You'll see the link below in the video description. Come and join me for more educational content on how to use high level to be successful and work less, profit more. Thanks for having me. I've been Ryan O'Connor. See you next time.